Okay, so if you're wondering who this chucklehead is, he is a social democrat, used to be a prime minister in my country, and he ran against what I would consider to be Romania's Milei. The closest equivalent. The name goes by Basescu. Some people call him Bazeu, Bagad, because he managed to save Romania from an economic crisis. He went in, he slashed the funding of the bureaucrats by 50%. He started firing people from the government. And he was a very right-wing individual and the type of person that Americans would never vote for. Why? Well, because legend has it he fucked his mistress in the equivalent of the Oval Office. Like, he was a married man, but he had his mistress, and he banged her literally in the presidential chambers, to which the public was like, based. No, that's based. I mean, of course you would. He's a Chad. Before the second runoff to election, it was revealed that he spanked a child. Like, there was a child from the crowd which tried to reach for his microphone, I understand, and instinctively was like, smack. The people still voted for him by the logic that if he saves Romania from a crisis, he can spank as many kids as he wants. In fact, I'll bring my kid to him so he can spank him as well. Just don't make us end up like Greece. Just don't make us end up into the same economic crisis. And this is like the mentality that I want my viewers to understand from Eastern Europe. When we vote for someone, we don't vote for Mother Teresa. Like, we do not care if the person is Jesus Christ or not. What we do care is that, can we hire this individual to perform a specific job? Nothing else matters. Like, he can be the most immoral person in the world, right? Can he do the job? And if the answer is yes, then we hire him. And so this individual, which was with the Social Democrats, he was obviously a man of culture, and he was a lot more refined, and we would never perform such acts, didn't manage to win the elections. But every now and then we get to hear some of his takes. And this one, I don't know if I can say baffled me or just made me laugh, because it's one of the most ridiculous takes ever. So for those of you who don't know, JD Vance and Elon Musk has spent a considerable amount of time shaming my nation. Not just my nation, but they're trying to shame the European Union, because right now, culturally, there is a war on neoliberalism, or a war on wokeism, or a war on the Baitsuo culture, like whatever name you wanted, Sorosism, as we call it. The American public has voted that, okay, we had enough of this shit. Like, we tried your way for a while, and we see that you guys are coming up with censorship. The concept of free speech, freedom of expression is something that you guys don't like anymore. You guys are constantly putting for environmentalism, which lowers my lifestyle, it lowers my children's lifestyle. Your economy doesn't guarantee that I will have a stable job, that my kid will get a job, right? So, like, the Americans have had enough. Like, they're absolutely disgusted with progressive values. And as such, like, they united, they joined forces, they conjured the magic, they summoned from the ether El Demonio, Donald Trump, which represents the disgust and the rage of American people manifest. And so when he looks at the European Union, he sees something abhorrent. He sees the disgust. And the way that this disgust can be articulated is through the annulment of elections in my country. He doesn't like this, right? J.D. Vance doesn't like it. Elon Musk don't like it, because they're saying that the worst thing you can do in a democratic nation is to cancel elections. The only way you can do it is if you have, like, really, really good reasons. And so far, the Romanian government has failed to provide the evidence. Like, apparently the Russians. The Americans are like, no, we're defending you from the Russians. Like, this is our friendship. We are defending you from the Russians. You respect our values. You have free elections in your country. And if your democracy is not strong enough to resist a crazy person, Zamolxis, the shaman, or whomever the fuck, if you can't do that, then maybe your democracy is shit. Like, you guys should plan a nation so that in the event that an insane person manages to become president for 5 years or 10 years, your country should still survive. Like, you should have checks and balances. You should have, like, things that that manage to keep the country going, but at the same time, you should allow people to vote for whomever the fuck they want. If the public wants to vote for the most immoral person in your nation, you should allow it, because that's what democracy means. You don't save the people from themselves, because this is what one of the judges from the Supreme Court has said. It's like, well, people, like the will of the people has values, and we need to protect those values, right? So, like, you have reached the position where you're protecting people from themselves. No, like, the people manifest those values through voting, regardless who that person is. And so, like, J.D. Vance has accurately stated that this is not okay. Like, our values do not align. It's very difficult for him to go back home and justify to the American taxpayer, why are we defending this country that does not share our values, right? It's not Israel, it's not Saudi Arabia, it's Eastern Europe. Well, Eastern Europe has to follow the values. And so, regarding this, we have now one politician, this social democrat, Adrian Nastase, which got upset because what J.D. Vance told him. And I'm like, well, hold on a little bit. Does America even want to talk to us at this point? Because we don't have an official president, right? Like, the president that we have overstayed his welcome. Like, he lost his legitimacy. In the Romanian constitution, a president is voted for 5 years, and after those 5 years, he is replaced by the next president that wins the vote. If it happens that it's the same president because he wins the second election, that's a different thing. But, like, you need to validate. Like, he needs to have legitimacy, right? And so, like, our president, well, he finished his mandate, so he stepped down. And now he is replaced by, the Romanian equivalent of a vice president. We don't have a vice president, but it's another politician, like the head of the Senate, I believe, or something. I'm trying to explain it in a way so Americans can understand. But he's replaced by another guy, which, again, it's appointed. He's not elected, right? So if the Americans believe that the most sacred thing in the universe happens to be elections, like you can't even talk to them, like they will spit on you, they look at you with disgust and disdain if you don't have elections. Like, this is the most important thing. And you're going, like, with whom? With whom are you going towards the Americans to talk with? Like, these people have no legitimacy in their eyes. And so, apparently, Mr. Nastase here, maybe he has some connections to the Americans. I don't know, like, maybe they want to talk to him. But, like, as far as I know, until we actually do have elections and until we do actually get someone with legitimacy, the Americans aren't very interested in talking to us. Outside of Elon Musk shaming our Supreme Court leaders and J.D. Vance shaming the way we do things. That's it. That's the only thing that they're interested in. But, like, to actually engage with our politicians right now, I don't think they're interested. And so this is interesting. Nastase says, like, the Social Democrat says that Romania does not have a reason to take morality from the United States. Are you fucking kidding me? We do have a reason. It's called the American military. We benefited from them. They're called NATO, right? They're the ones that guarantee our geopolitical strategy and importance. Last time I checked, we're neighboring Russia, so unless you have a magical spell, Mr. Nastase, to conjure up armies and minions out of the fucking ether, I think we need to talk to the United States to get their military. Now, there are other nations on Earth, such as the ones that I mentioned before, Israel, United States, which has money, right? Like, they produce value in other ways. Right, like they produce wealth, they produce geopolitical strength, right? Like they project power in the region. Some of them may bribe American politicians, form various PACs in their country, whatever. Do we do any of that? No. Okay, so what do we do? Well, we need to share their values. I think, like, if you're going to the negotiation table and you're looking at the deal, it's like, share our values, allow free speech, allow free expression, allow this and that. And in exchange, you get our protection. That's a fucking amazing deal. Yeah, sure. I mean, we don't have to take their morality. No, I agree. You don't have to take their morality. And they can take their army and fuck off. They can do the Aurelian retreat. And then we're going to sit here and probably take morality from the Russians, I assume, right? Or maybe, he can forge alliance with other great powers, like the Chinese. Maybe he's got, like, Chinese connections, and the Chinese people will guarantee our sovereignty. That did happen during Ceausescu. The Chinese people were willing to stand with their Romanian brethren against the Russian invaders if the Russians will do to Romania what they're doing to Czechoslovakia. Many people don't know that, but that was a thing in history. So like maybe, you can reforge that alliance, summon the elves from China in order to defend us from Mordor in Russia, right? But like this is the one that I find very interesting. Like just so you can understand the lack of coming to grips with reality for these European politicians that still don't get that Donald Trump won the election, right? Like they still don't get that Kamala Harris is not in the White House. I don't know what needs to happen. I don't know like what would be considered a necessary shock to reality for them to finally come to terms. It's like, okay, Donald Trump won the elections. But I feel that it will take a couple more days and they will start their own hashtag not my president, like during the first Trump administration. But at least that was done by American people. But now it seems that, our politicians, they want NATO, they want the benefits from the United States, they don't want tariffs, but they also want to have the hashtag not my president. I mean, yeah, he's not your president, he's a partner. And he is offering something, and in exchange, he's requesting something from you in return. He is saying that he believes it's very simple. Romanian leaders should tell the American leaders that we don't always have the same principles and values. Sometimes, when it comes to elections, maybe we make a mistake. But we don't try to get into the capital in Bucharest and throw the country in the... First of that, like, yeah, you did. During the resist movement, there were a couple of incidents where, like some people did try to actually get into the presidential palace, but they were stopped by the gendarmes. But like, the thing that baffles me, it's like, okay, so you want to somehow get someone from Romania, right, to get in line with someone from Trump's administration. Like, maybe through some miracle, you managed to establish a connection, right? Do you even know what Donald Trump thinks of January 6th? Do you know his policy and what he thinks regarding that? But not only that, it's like the American people voted for Donald Trump, who in the actual presidential campaign said that he's going to pardon all of the people from January 6th. And you believe that this is a winning argument, that, like J.D. Vance is saying, fuck is wrong with you? Get your democracy in order. It's like, why J.D. Vance, January 6th. I'm so glad that these individuals aren't making policy for the entire nation. Jesus fucking Christ. Can you imagine if this guy actually managed to become president? Like, if this is the way he thinks that you should talk to foreign leaders, who's, by the way, like, we have a vested interest in being on their good side. It's fun. I don't even know what to say, man. Like, it's so fucking simple, isn't it? Right? Like, in the world, there are certain people, certain individuals, who you need something from. Right? Like, you want something from this person. How do you get it? Well, you get it either by being nice to them, or if you're a woman with dick tits, you can get it by trying to fuck with them. And if you fuck with them, then you can nag them. That would work. Yes, like, if this gentleman, like, if he was a plump lady with massive titties and shit, and he was very gorgeous, maybe he could do what China did with Feng Feng, right? Like, they sent Feng Feng to seduce they sent their army of succubies to seduce some American senators. And if you do that, then yeah, maybe you can shame them in public and be like, wait, January 6th. Oh, Dios mío. Right. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.